Radio.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Donna.
And this is Chris.
And this is Sharon.
How are you guys doing? I know how Chris is doing because she's standing right in front of me.
Yeah, right in front of her, shaking my little booty. It's my absolute pleasure to try and make Donna laugh while we're doing a show.
Yes,
I live for it.
Yeah, she does. She does. You know, I've had, I don't know what I've had. I've been in the hospital. I've been on all kinds of medicine, and she knows that if I laugh, I will cough, and thus I will pee my pants.
So I've made it my mission in life to make her laugh during the show. I try to sideways hump things in the store, if we're in the store, or at my house, or, you know, anything, just anything.
And then we have a direct opposition of Crystal is her wonderful daughter, Megan, who is in the kitchen right now making coffee for me because she doesn't want me to pee my pants.
The world goes around with peeing in the pants. It just makes everyone laugh and happy, and, you know, maybe you don't feel so dry, but, you know, the rest of us get a kick out of it.
Yeah. You know, I'll leave a trail walking across these hardwood floors. No matter. Easy way to chase ghosts. I believe now, if you do your research on how they originally hunted ghosts, it was things like that, maybe not necessarily urine, but I do believe that baby powder was used.
Baby powder, yes.
Things like that, so.
I know myself, I have been personally guilty of trying the old baby powder technique, but it didn't work too well. Made a mess, made me sneeze, made me have to dust, but, you know, I tried.
And I've got to say, it's been a while since we've had a paranormal on the show. Bear with my voice, it's going already, but so I guess we'll probably have some things to talk about. You know, there's always new techniques popping up, new pieces of equipment, and you know, and I know the same as Miss Crystal and Sharon is in the sense of ghost hunting or the sense of paranormal investigating. I don't like the term ghost hunting at all, but I think old school is best school. Personally, I think it's the simplest equipment, the less that you can contaminate your surroundings with, the best results that you do garner in the end, and that's based on almost 30 years of doing this. So that's just my opinion.
It's your humble opinion, and it's mine too. And simplicity. It's always the KISS method. Keep it simple, because that works best. That's even my product. Very simple. It's the simplicity. It works. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. I agree. And if we look back, you know, to the 1800s, the EVP research that was being done then, just by people who were attempting to record the sound of birds, you know, through their window, the EVPs that they came up with and how they were being recorded, I think, is what makes EVP still to this day the most powerful form of evidence / data that you can present to a client in a paranormal case.
I do too. I think a lot of the times EVPs they're more real. They're sometimes you can see they're visual too, just because, you know, depending on what program you can actually see, you know, an EVP coming up. If you're watching, you know, for the heightened level of the voice, and then you get to hear something. So I think it kind of tickles all of your senses all the way around. It's not just a photo, or, you know, a lot of the times the photos, they're like, oh, where is it? Is that it? Is that it? But an EVP you can hear, and it's clear and it's concise, and it's a key piece of evidence, in my opinion. I love EVPs, though. So. Right.
And I think that if you have a picture that you have to take into a photo manipulation program and circle what you want people to look at, throw it out. If you've got to point it out, you got to throw it out.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And a lot of people will take the tiniest bit of dust or dirt or, you know, and say, oh, it's an orb. Well, not necessarily. It's probably a bug or a dust.
What about you, Sharon?
First of all, I'm having a hard time hearing you. You're kind of coming in and out. It's almost like you're in like a tunnel.
That's what my voice sounds like. It's not the sound, it's my voice, actually.
No, because I can hear you better now than because I've missed, like, the first part of the show. I
Really?
Yeah. I could hear crystal clear, but I couldn't hear you at all. And I was like, okay, what is she doing? Is she walking in and out away from the mic?
No, she's actually just sitting down. I'm looking at her. I'm actually peeking through the slats of my stairs, looking at her from time to time. So sometimes that happens with me, and I can't hear you very well, Sharon. I think it just kind of, it's weird. I think Blog Talk has this weird thingy.
And there's been a lot of severe weather, in the Midwest and the Northeast and all that. So, and I know that Blog Talk's back there somewhere. What we were talking about, Sharon, was as far as paranormal researching and investigating goes, and it's been a while since we've had a team on. But, I think that we are, I know you've been doing this for 25 years. I've been doing this for 25 years. Crystal, same. The tried and true, the old school is, I think for us, and I think we've talked about this, is the best.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many teams out there that seem to think, if I have the biggest thermal imaging camera, or I have the best this, or I have the best that, well, it doesn't matter how great your equipment is, it's how well you do your job.
Right.
If you can get what you need and be able to prove what you need to prove with, like you said earlier, baby powder, or Donna and I have both tried little tiny toy motion detectors that you get in a box out from McDonald's. I mean, there's so many different techniques and methods that you can use, and you can get, if not better, than what you could with the most expensive equipment.
Right.
You see people spending, upward $200, $300 for a geophone when, for how many months do they offer those little toys that did the exact same thing at McDonald's and a Happy Meal, and more obvious, visible results.
Well, absolutely.
That's funny. I guess I missed out on that McDonald's toy. I want myself a Happy Meal now.
I bought every single one of them that they had. I'm telling you.
Did you really?
Yes, I sure did. And we still have, I'm going to say probably maybe about 25 of them still here.
Really?
Yep. And we still use
awesome.
them. I mean, it's a very simple tool that gets awesome results.
I want one now.
Oh, what is it now?
The little McDonald's toy, geophone thing.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're talking about. So you know the team that we're, or am I mistaken? Do you know the team that we have on tonight, Sharon?
No, other than them contacting, I think it was Laura about coming on and being guest on the show.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know why I thought that they were friends of yours for some reason.
I think we're friends on Facebook, but I have not personally met them. I think it's awesome, because here we are, three girls, and we rock, and they are three girls, and they rock.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Girls' power is awesome. We're amazing individuals.
Fabulous. I can't wait to get them on and talk to them and, kind of find out a few things and I just have some of the, the generic questions I want to ask them, but I'm definitely curious about them. So I can't wait.
Right, and they are an all-girl team. They specialize in mining towns in Colorado. They practice scientific and metaphysical beliefs during investigations. They also use a non-provoking, respectful approach with communication and practice protection before and after all investigations. I'm hearing an echo now, too. So use of debunking methods during investigations and evidence review. They will help spirits who ask with the aid from their angel reader to perform crossovers. They've done over 50 investigations and have been featured on the Paranormal Challenge, USS Hornet, and My Ghost Story to air on April 6th. All members have had experience as children with the spirit world. They are firm believers, but they will also not jump to conclusions that it's paranormal until they have proof. So with that said, They are on the line. Okay. Are you hearing a feedback? Really bad on my voice, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Okay. Is that any better?
No.
Any better?
Any better there?
A little bit.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, it was Laura's phone.
Okay, we're just tying up a few things. I think we're going to be...
Okay, let's bring on LeeAnna and Tawni.
Hello, ladies. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing great. How are you?
Trying to hear, kind of hear the echoing that's going on. I hope I'm not coming across that way either.
No, I think we found the culprit.
Okay. Well, I'm here with my teammate, Tawni. Tawni, say hi.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Tawni.
Hi, Tawni. So I have a question for you. I just want to know, I guess we'll ask LeeAnna, when did you guys start your team? And why just girls? Not that it's bad. I think it's fabulous. But
Well, officially, we started in the 2010 of October. And basically all three of us have kind of been around the paranormal and have, activity happen to us straight from childhood. We've always been fascinated with it, and I'll have to be honest with you, with all the shows that were out, it just made things a lot easier to the common Joe to get some equipment and check it out if it's something they feel passionate about. And I started with Most Haunted, that show from England. That's what got me hooked, and I thought, hey, here's an opportunity. The reason we have all three girls is we wanted to be a little different, more unique than mixing it up co-ed. And it just always worked for us because we feel that women seem to be a little bit more intuitive. It seems the actual spirits will feel comfortable with us because, we don't have that brass male voice or, we don't provoke. So it just works well for us.
That's a really good answer, and I'm so sorry. I think I have to agree with you. Not that there aren't good male. Sorry, I'm choking up again. Not that there aren't good male investigators, but I do think in general women tend to be more intuitive and in tune to sympathetic. Maybe I don't know what the right word is, but I can 100% concur with that, and that's a really, really good answer. I wasn't expecting that to be an answer, but love it. Absolutely love it. So, Tawni, can you tell us some of your LeeAnna just said that, provoking. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about your investigative style?
Sure. I mean, running along with all of us being female, one of the other awesome things about us is that all three of us are polar opposites. I mean, we literally are polar opposites as far as our investigative style and just our personalities and how we are in general life, too, which is really cool for all of us to come together and be able to work together. You've got a ton of different angles coming together, which is really nice. So when it comes to investigating, we work together. We try to do things as scientific as we possibly can, use every piece of equipment that we possibly can, and use our feelings, our intuitions, communicating with each other when it's doing the investigation, and then when it comes to evidence review, too. I mean, we really work together, but we all three have totally different angles on things. So it makes for a really good combination, and we come up with really good results, too.
Really good, good. I know we have some EVPs that we'll be playing a little bit later in the show. Some of the EVPs that you guys have caught. What do you think your most compelling, let's see, we'll go back to LeeAnna. What is your most compelling piece of evidence that you've ever caught while on investigation?
Well, there's a lot. One thing I do want to explain is that we frequent the same mining towns, and it's kind of neat that we can continually come in contact with a lot of the same spirits, so we can grow on the relationship between them and the evidence that we get, and they feel more comfortable with us. But I would say the biggest piece of evidence that I enjoy is getting a response from the children. We'll be hearing an EVP tonight from a location that we got it sounds like a little boy or a little girl, very clear. And unfortunately, there was a lot of children that died of scarlet fever in that town. A lot of women that died because there was a lot of prostitution. And for some reason, they like to connect with us, and I think that has to do with the fact that we're women. So, yes, yeah, exactly. They feel comfortable, especially little kids. I kind of connect with them because I'm a mom, and I've been told by our angel reader that they understand that. But that, we've got a lot of evidence. We've been very lucky. But I think the part when you finally capture a child's voice and you can't deny it, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking right now with Tawni?
No, I'm LeeAnna, but Tawni's
LeeAnna,
next if you want her.
Okay, Tawni, yeah. The angel card reader, you were, or LeeAnna was just talking about that, and I was reading in your bio that you sometimes use that person to cross over, spirits who request to be crossed over. How does that work in your group?
It's definitely one of those things that during an investigation there has to be a definitive communication, whether it be EVP, Ovulus. We use the K2 meter, we use the Mel meter, we use a lot of things, but if there's, something that we're communicating with that we can get a direct response saying, yes, we want help. Obviously we ask tons of other questions and communicate in tons of other ways with them, but if we can get a definitive response that there's something there that feels like it's lost or stuck or whatever, absolutely. We bring in our angel reader who's a medium and who works with the angels, and we do the best that we can. And, we've come into circumstances where we've brought our angel reader in, and there have been entities that didn't want to leave, that were very clear that they were there, but they were okay being there. And so sometimes you just have to leave that alone.
Right, and I respect that you guys do that. I really do. I know in the past we've talked to people who say, would tell us as the hosts and as paranormal researchers that it was our responsibility to cross these spirits over whether or not they wanted it. And I'm like, no, I'm not God. I am not God.
There's a free will. There's a free will in human life, and there's also a free will in spiritual life.
That's right.
That's it. It's a free will. It's a choice, and that's what it is. And I personally believe that the gateway is always open. It doesn't take somebody there to cross you over. The gateway is always open, but it's free will.
That's how I feel. You're right. You're absolutely right. I agree completely. Sharon?
Well, you stole my angel reader question because I definitely didn't know exactly what that was.
That's because I'm reading your damn mind.
I know. Let's see. My question. Let's see. I guess Allie, she isn't with us tonight.
She's not.
Because I was going to ask her some questions about her Wicca medium healer stuff. So that kind of puts that out of there. Unless you guys can explain that to our listeners exactly what it is that Allie does.
Allie actually is a high priestess in the Wicca community, and she's a medium also. So she's very much into the love and light and protection. She can actually hear them usually a couple days before we even go to a location if they know we're coming, and they usually do. For some reason, the spirits in those towns are welcoming us with open arms. So she'll get one of them that'll talk to her a couple nights before, and she'll kind of know what we're in for. But I don't let that taint the investigation. We want to make sure that we're not taking it for gospel truth of what she's saying because she could be wrong. Anyone can be wrong in that area. So we want to make sure that we keep an open mind to what's there so that they can openly communicate with us. Now, if it gets to the point where things just aren't rolling along, or they are rolling along and the story is coming out because they love the Ovulus there, we have to piece together the story, then I'll bring in Allie and say, okay, tell me what you know or what you feel. So it just depends on the circumstances and what we're dealing with and how the investigation's going for the night. But Allie's a great asset to our team. she's totally the opposite of Tawni and I, so that plays well. But, no, she can feel things. She can hear them talking in her head. So it's kind of hard for her on investigations sometimes when she gets overwhelmed or if they try to attach to her. So we usually tell her, if you get to that point, please let us know and we'll get you the hell out of there.
Right.
Because, it's dangerous. You know as well as anyone you can bring something nasty home,
Absolutely.
and we've had that happen. So, yeah, she's just fantastic with the team.
Well, and one of the cool things that we started doing recently on Investigations with Allie is that a lot of times me and LeeAnna will do a walkthrough with the property owner or whatever and hear the history and obviously the stories and things that are involved. And then it's been a really cool thing for us to do is to have LeeAnna, obviously I'm the tech manager, so I'm constantly behind the camera, but have LeeAnna step aside, have the owner step aside, and do a walkthrough with just me and Allie on film, and have Allie give me what she's feeling and what she's getting on film prior to us doing the investigation without Allie hearing any history of the location, and then to be able to come back in and do the investigation. And like LeeAnna said, Allie's completely silent when it comes to her intuition and the things that she's feeling and hearing until we ask her. So that kind of has been a really cool thing, too, to be able to match up the history and what Allie feels and whatever, and to match it up. It's been really cool.
That's amazing.
I think. Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Sharon.
Donna. Well, what I was going to say is you had mentioned, about getting attachments and so forth and whatnot. And, every one of us who's been in this field for a long time, we all kind of have what we do as far as to protect us from that happening. And there are cases that no matter what type of protection you do, you still get attachments. What does your group practice or do as far as protecting yourself?
We actually believe in the metaphysical as far as oils and stones. We make sure that we have some type of jewelry that at least have black tourmaline or purple amethyst or any of the stones that will either repel negativity or just help us with energy. Also, all the girls carry a protection pack, a little pouch that has various stones in it also. We gather ourselves together in a circle. We use dragon's blood, two types of psychic protection oil, and then we talk to Archangel Michael and ask him for protection and light, but also allow us to make communication, even if it's with a dark entity, because we don't want to shun anything if it wants to talk to us. We just don't want to bring it home with us, but we do that. We do that to try to protect ourselves. And then if we're in a situation where we really think we're getting some weird stuff going on and we feeling some negativity, we will sage the living crap out of each other afterwards and my car.
No, let's just be clear. LeeAnna just likes to sage me.
They like Tawni. The bad ones love Tawni. So she's our negativity magnet.
I won't lie. There's been numerous occasions after an investigation, sleeping in a hotel bed, waking up to LeeAnna and Allie with sage over me.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, hello. Oh, we're just saging you. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, I've had experiences like that with Crystal. It wasn't sage. It was Laura's hair that she cut, but,
I sprinkled hair all over. Well, I want to know then, this can go to LeeAnna. It sounds like, I know we were talking about Allie, but I'm Christian, but I totally love some of the Wiccan things, like we have candles and stones and whatnot. I think just believing in one way is I don't know, it's not the right choice for me. So I want to know, it sounds like you guys kind of are following some of the things right along with that. Would that be true to say? If you guys are using stones and...
Yeah, and, Tawni and I are both raised Christian, but we're both open-minded to all religions, the pagan, the Wiccan, anything, especially in the spiritual world. Obviously, you guys know that we're out to capture something or make communication and try to prove to those skeptics that it exists. So we don't we're not prejudiced against any religion or anyone's opinion. So, we're wide open on that, but we believe in reincarnation. We believe in past lives, all three of us. And it was really cool meeting Allie, because when she came in, she did add that extra oomph and educated us, because we weren't part of the Wicca religion. I know.
Right.
Well, Tawni, she's got Indian heritage. She's Indian, so that the Indian beliefs are kind of a lot like the Wicca beliefs.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
actually, if you want to get technical, the
I'm
Catholic. I said, if you want to get technical, the Catholic religion is somewhat similar to Wiccan too. I mean, it's
similar, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's very similar, and it comes from the same place. My grandfather's Indian too, so that's where the staging for me, and I believe there's power in it when I do it. So I believe in it, Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to kind of throw that in there about Catholicism.
No, definitely. I mean, and that's, the same thing, like I said before about me, Allie, and LeeAnna, is that LeeAnna was raised Christian. I was not. Mm-hmm. I developed my Christianity at an adult age when I was probably 17 or 18. That was when, I developed my Christianity and became a devout Christian. However, prior to that, my grandmother would call herself a witch. I'll be totally honest with you. Still to this day, she would call herself a witch. So I was always, around different things and doing sage and herbs and stones and spells and different things when I was younger. I became a Christian when I was 18, and then when I grew up even further than that and started really getting into the paranormal and all of that, I have a very broad belief system and things that I practice on my own personally and with the team. It's very broad.
That's good. I think if you're doing looking into the paranormal to begin with, you have to kind of be a little more open than the average Joe.
Yep.
just to begin with, or you wouldn't be doing this anyway. There are some people that they're like, oh my gosh, they just don't even want to talk about it or broach the subject, or they pretend like that didn't just happen or what have you. Yeah, I love those people. Those are the ones that always crack me up. But I just many times, and I've changed my point of views several times throughout my investigative career, what I believe and how I think. And for me personally, kind of looking into the Wiccan stuff is relatively new. Love it, love it, love it. I feel like a piece of me, of things that I already believed in was missing, is there now, and I can kind of have it all. So I've never said that out loud, so hopefully nobody is upset with that. None of our listeners, anyway. Sharon, are you with us?
I'm still here.
Okay, I had to make sure it got a little quiet. We don't know what to do when it gets quiet up in here with us girls.
I
know. Who out of the, let's see, we'll have Tawni answer this one. Who out of the three of you guys would be the front man, would be, if you hear something, would be the one to run towards it?
LeeAnna.
LeeAnna?
I have the camera, so I'm running right behind her, but...
That's
well,
funny.
I don't know. Like, if you hear something and we get spooked, then all three of us come together in a very tight circle, and it's like, oh, what is that? What is that? Did you hear that?
That makes sense.
Most definitely LeeAnna is the leader, period, end of story on that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have found there's typically the ones that'll run for it, and then there are those that will run away from it and try to regroup and then go back and figure it out. So our group is somewhat larger, and I'm kind of in between. There have been times when I've ran towards it, or there have been something where I was spooked, and I know Donna came looking for me underneath a swing set one time because I jumped out of it so fast I flipped it, and she thought it was on top of me, and it wasn't. I was already on the other side of the bar. By the time
like
she
if
got
there's
there.
a noise, LeeAnna will run towards it, but if you're asking to go into a dark hole or like a mine or places where there might be spiders or dirt, then I have to go in, period.
Ah. that's
I'm
pretty
the grunt.
funny. You're the grunt. You're the person that takes the beating. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Perfect.
LeeAnna won't lead in that fashion. She'll dictate from outside the hole, but she won't go in there.
Hey, she's young. She can do it.
Do you guys ever scare each other? I mean, obviously,
yes.
There's a time and a place for everything, but our team loves any opportunity to get near Donna to scream.
Yes,
any opportunity.
I love making LeeAnna scream. It is the funniest thing in the entire planet. If I had a fake rat that I could place during investigations, it would make my life.
Yeah, our team members know now that they will get punched most likely from me if they scare me, because they scare me and I process it and then I swing and then I don't even know who I'm swinging at. So. Yeah, my son-in-law, he's been knuckle bumped more than once, and he's like, ow, laughs, and then does it again the next day. I'm like, you should have learned. I don't know what to tell you, but you should have learned by now.
Don't give LeeAnna ideas. I don't want her to start hitting me. Now I'm not going to play jokes anymore.
I think it's such a serious business. Investigating is so serious that you have to break it up a little bit, because it's so monotonous and it's so focused. If you don't break it up, I think we would go insane. I think I would be in the loony bin. So I know there have been outside investigations, and I humped a scarecrow once. There's a picture floating around Facebook. Yeah, I know. And then the other famous story going around Facebook, I'm really short. I'm referred to as the midget, and I went to step over a blackberry bush and somehow got my crotch stuck in the blackberries, and I couldn't get my crotch out of this bush. Yeah, my team members are laughing. I'm like, I thought I was taller than that, but apparently I wasn't. So we have fun. We have pictures, and we have video, and all the goofy.
all the goofy stuff that goes along. Evidence.
We want to do a blooper reel. We do want to do a blooper video sometime.
Oh, do it. We've done them, and it is so worth it.
It is. Nothing. It gets viewed a lot. Your teammates go back, and I mean, I have to tell you, we had somebody farted really loud one time.
What?
And then you caught an EVP.
Yeah, it was on it. Yeah, it was on an EVP. It was with. No. I meant on one of the cases, and you could hear it from the other room, and it was picked up on recording. I'm like, oh my gosh, a ghost just shit his pants. I don't know what. It was so bad, and it was one of the male investigators. And then you hear everybody on the team just bust up laughing. Like, I guess he was trying to hold it. It's those moments that are real that are so hilarious.
If the general public only really knew what went on.
What it was like, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
If they aired a paranormal television show that really portrayed what we do, paranormal investigators would watch it. Everybody else would well, God, they're just sitting there, and they're waiting, and look at them wait, and they're waiting some more, and we would watch it, of course.
Yeah,
and then in the midst of waiting, somebody cracks one off. That's what it is. There's no joking there. That's exactly what's going down. So what? You guys mentioned a bunch of equipment. You mentioned stones. You've mentioned saging. LeeAnna, what other type of equipment or things do you use? Do you guys use trigger objects? We were talking about the old school baby powder. What are tried and true techniques for you guys, or things that you love doing?
Well, I usually always bring toys for the children. We usually bring balls and trigger items in that respect. If we know a little bit of the history and who could possibly be in the location, we try to adjust a trigger item that would fit that particular scenario. But we've been, leaving children toys, especially with the little boy that we crossed over at Doc Holliday's casino. He contacted us. We said that if he told us, we would get someone to help him, and we got an EVP that said, "I'm here." And I left the little boy a ball, and the next thing we find out, they're finding this ball all over the casino, because he was playing with it. So we try to use trigger items. We're just now starting to use a bell, stringing up a bell and seeing if they could manipulate that. Just something easy for them. But for the most part, our spirits love the ovulus. We get a lot of evidence on the ovulus. And then, of course, we use a DVR system with IR cameras. We like to go ahead and do an investigation and set up those cameras in hot spots that we've gotten some kind of activity. And then we leave the building for an hour and sit out in the car and fart. And then
go the farters, they're cracking off there.
And then we go back in and we're pack up our gear and we leave. So that's usually our MO for all of our investigations. And believe it or not, usually once they know we're gone, that's when they come out. And we picked up a lot of things, and we even got an EVP at a museum. They were whispering, and then you could hear us come in the door because the door had a motion detector on it, and you could hear them going, "They're back." So,
oh wow! Yeah,
they're aware. They're
sense.
aware. So
It makes it. I really like that. I haven't heard that one before. Then your evidence isn't contaminated either. If you guys are out waiting in the vehicle, that is not contaminated too.
So
that
cool
is, I'm actually, in all my years, this is the first time I've heard of anyone. I mean, we always leave EVPs while we're kind of searching the building or, in rooms and whatnot, but I never heard of that and actually going to your car and leaving it for an hour. But yeah, I mean, if they think you're not there.
Car. I mean, we're in a small mining town, so we can even go across the street and go into a casino and hang out for 2 hours or whatever. I mean, and then we come back. I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. And then to actually go back, I mean, not only are we setting up the DVR system, but we've got voice recorders next to every camera that we set up too. So we're getting the full spectrum of everything. It's really cool.
Now, you were talking about communicating with children. And, Sharon, this is where I'm going to bring you in because you and your team used a device that your husband created, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the same on the aspect of you guys bringing in toys, but we have made it a little bit to where it's more, I guess, considered like a lab experiment where it's not contaminated in any way, shape, or form, because anybody can pick up that ball and move it. Not to say that they did, but somebody could pick that ball up and move it. So we made a test box, and we put the items within the box, and we draw the outline of that item in the box with a piece of chalk, and then cover the box with a piece of plexiglass, which is locked in place and set on a stable piece of, whether it's a table or a floor, where, it's not going to be in anybody's way. There's no way that anybody can touch it or anything like that, and ask them to move the object. And numerous of times we've had them move the object into different spots in that test box and put it in a chalk line that wasn't in the original chalk line and be almost in there perfectly.
Really cool idea.
Yeah.
Love that. We use I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the REM bear, which is very similar to that too, where something literally, you set the bear up and something has to physically break the field and the bear lights up and goes off. I mean, but something has to come up and touch it. So, similar.
Wow.
That really cool idea, though. I like that.
Interesting. Now, I know, let me see. We're at about our halfway point, so we're going to take our break. And when we come back, we're going to play some EVPs that these fine ladies have brought for us to listen to. And we're also going to talk about their appearance on the Paranormal Challenge as well as the upcoming My Ghost Story. So we will be back with Spirit Realm Investigative Project in just a few minutes.
You're listening to Sci-Fi Radio.
That's what we get for listening to the music and not paying attention.
I know you were jamming out.
Yeah, that's what we do. We sit here and we jam out just a little bit.
Well, thanks for playing Leopard because I'm a diehard. I've known the band since I was 17.
Oh, right
Love
on. It. Right on. Paranormal Challenge. I know there was a lot of mixed reviews about that show. What? Let's see. LeeAnna, what was your experience on that show, and did you guys win?
No, we didn't win. They got a key piece of evidence, and it was very much a stressful situation. We found out on a Wednesday. We had to drive all the way to California by Monday, and that was a whole other entertainment aspect in itself, losing my air conditioning in the desert. And, not to mention the fact that we were going to be on a battleship, which is a totally different situation than being on the ground. Sure. It's not that it moved. It was the fact that people would think that a battleship was wide open, and it's not. It's full of compartments, different doors, small quarters, and then the steps. That's all. I mean,
they're not steps.
they go at an angle. Yeah. They go at an angle, and they have, the strings attached to the cable, and if you don't hold on to that, you're going to bite it hard. And, here we've got a camera crew behind us and a sound guy, and there's cords everywhere, and we're trying not to trip over each other, and we're trying to carry our equipment, and you got Zach on the walkie-talkie saying, okay, you only got so many minutes left, and then you're just like rush, and hoping you can communicate. You got to remember all the
areas
history
that they showed you.
Yeah, we got to hit all these areas. It's like I can only spend so much time here. No, we got to get over here. So you have to plan it out, and it's totally different than anything you're ever used to. And you got people watching you, and it's very, very stressful.
A challenge, to say the least.
Yeah. That would be difficult. That would be really difficult for me.
It
would.
It was a challenge, to say the very least. I mean, the time constraint. I mean, all of us have investigated, obviously. Mm-hmm. You can spend an hour and a half, 2 hours. You could spend an entire night in one room.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To have an entire aircraft carrier that you've been walked through and shown the hot spots to in the pitch black with a panel of judges watching you from above, and to be on time constraints and to try to do the best that you can.
Right.
It's challenging, to say the least.
Yeah,
I mean, and all you can do is do the best that you possibly can. And then even with evidence review, you're on a time constraint with evidence review. I think we had 4 hours?
And it was a chaotic 4
Not
hours.
Even 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about the entire investigation was 4 hours? But you've got 2 voice recorders running. You've got 3 cameras running for that entire 4 hours. How are you going to review that evidence in 4 hours?
You can't. Well, you can't do it well. You'd be fast-forwarding quite a bit. Wow.
Yeah, that was the hard part.
Like
and, you want to get the best evidence you can, but there's stuff you didn't even get to. And they were lucky enough to get the millimeter to sound like Morse code, so they started basically they already won. We already to our knowledge, we didn't even know it yet, but they had the key piece, so it wouldn't have mattered if we could stand on our head and have an apparition hold us up. It didn't matter. They had the key piece of the evidence. So
no, I wouldn't say that. I would say that was something that happened during their investigation that they knew was a prolific piece of evidence, and so unlike us having, we didn't have anything, jump right out at us or, anything crazy. I mean, yes, the millimeter was going off like crazy, and we used that as evidence, but that was something that happened during their investigation that they knew, and they were able to tag that, and so rather than having to sift through 4 hours of
they went
evidence,
straight to it.
They could go straight to that and use that as their evidence, and, it is what it is.
So it was, Yeah, so, I felt sorry after undertaking that. I really understood what all these other teams went through. There's a lot of stuff you don't see on camera, a lot of editing. There's so many times where we were getting pegged red on millimeter to respond to questions, and they didn't put any of that in because they had to gear it for the winner. So there was a lot of lost footage. But it was an experience. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome experience.
Yep.
And the bottom line is on that show, it's left up to, isn't it? It's 3 or 4 judges.
3.
3, and they determine. Is that how it goes? They determine what is the best piece of evidence.
Yes.
Each team submits 3 different pieces of evidence. You have to have an audio evidence, a visual. I'm trying to remember.
What it was.
You have to submit 3 pieces of evidence after your evidence review, and yes, it's up to the panel of judges to determine the winner.
Wow.
And that's not how real-life paranormal investigations go. Like, sometimes you guys know. Sometimes you'll go and you'll get a ton of evidence, and the entities are wanting to talk, and then sometimes
we've gone back
nothing.
to the same location. We've been in a location and spent an entire night and had floods of evidence from EVPs to, door slamming and this and that, and just everything, flashlight technique, everything. Gone back to the exact same location months and months and months later, spent the night again, not a peep.
Yep.
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So it happens.
It does. It happens a lot.
So it sounds like the winner is determined by fate. There's really nothing you guys could have done differently in this instance. It was what it was.
Yep.
Well, we would have voted for you.
Well, that's good.
We still had fun. We still vote for ourselves.
Right. Right.
Exactly. And that's what matters. You guys, and I think if you go into every situation, typically you take something away from it, good, bad, or in between. And as long as you take something away from the experience, then you won anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Maybe next time with air conditioning, though.
Yes.
Yeah, the loss of air conditioning in the middle of Nevada was probably not the best thing ever.
No, after 18 hours of driving, too. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
I think I would have not been a happy camper.
Well, it was to the point where I have a stick shift, and neither one of the other girls know how to drive a stick, so, I was driving. That's all there was to it. And we had all worked that day, and we had left at, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm in the middle of Wyoming going, I'm not going to make it, guys. Luckily, I had a caffeine pill, and it kept me going for 18 hours. I drove straight through, and on the way back, I drove straight back, was 24 hours? 21 hours?
We don't even want to talk about the trip back.
I bet the trip
LeeAnna's
back
very
was,
OCD,
I would have almost...
and the only thing that I will ever credit to LeeAnna's OCD is that staying in hotels, this woman will always check, the mattresses and lift up sheets and things like that, and I'm always giving her crap for it. Well, you know what? At 2 o'clock in the morning, it was in Nevada. It was just right outside of Reno. We checked into a hotel to stop midway, and sure enough, we walk into this hotel room, 2 o'clock in the morning, and there are bed bugs. There was one laying next to the lamp, and LeeAnna lifted up the sheet, and there they were, and we checked right back out. We checked right back out of that hotel, and we drove all the way back straight through to Denver, and I was like, okay, I'll give you credit for that, LeeAnna.
That is disgusting. You hear horror stories about that. You're the first. Grody.
I will always check the mattresses from now on. I thought LeeAnna was crazy, but
I'm going to as well. Now I'm scared and paranoid of yet another thing.
I never was. I always thought LeeAnna was crazy until that night, and now I know.
I'm like, I don't ever want to hear it from you guys again. That's it. I saved your butt on that one.
Oh my gosh, that is so. Imagine them crawling. I'm gonna. Let me just tell you, you have just created a monster, and you didn't even need to.
I'm pretty sure that I think the only thing that I actually set down in the room was a blanket, and I set it on the bed before we saw it, and I'm pretty sure that I threw it away at the gas station across the street.
Oh, my gosh.
Just because it had sat on the bed for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, in 2 seconds, like 20 bed bugs
and
could
that we
have
were
jumped
bringing
on it.
home.
What did the hotel people say when you guys checked out? Like, I'm
gave
sorry
us our
to
money back.
report.
They knew it. Well, first I called them. I called them real quick. I said, "You got bed bugs. We're on our way. I want my money back." And she says, "Well, we can put you in another room." I said, "Really? You don't think another room's going to have them?" And she's like, "Okay, come on up." And we got the heck out of there. And people were coming, checking in, and I wanted to say something to them. I just felt, and it was packed in there too. So.
And this wasn't like a motel. This was a very prominent, I'm not going to name names, but this was a very prominent hotel chain.
Yeah.
I have found in instances like that, it doesn't matter. I'm in the beauty industry myself. It doesn't matter how expensive the salon is. And like you, I won't name names. Some of them are very prominent, very well known. They're nasty.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand. They are the nastiest of nasty, like toe gunk on toenail clippers. Oh, I'm telling you guys.
LeeAnna's going to run to the bathroom here in a second.
It is, oh my gosh. Not only, they just don't properly clean, they don't properly sanitize. They're combing people's hair that have had lice and not cleaning their combs. Let me tell you, LeeAnna, let me tell you, girl, when you go to any salon for any service, check and ask questions.
Oh, I know. Yeah, getting pedicures too. You got to watch that because they don't a lot of them don't sanitize, and someone's got some foot fungus or something.
That's right. There is not proper sanitation. One time I watched a salon owner wash a baby's poopy ass in the pedicure bowl, literally, and then rinse it out and take a client.
Oh, God.
She didn't even sanitize, just rinsed it out and taken a client. Some of the towels, if they don't have time to wash them, they will reuse them. So I went on my own. I was like, this is disgusting. And I went on. I do skincare and I have my own skincare line and makeup and that kind of thing. So I'm not just cutting hair. But I'm scared to go to a doctor now.
This is why I have to go crawling into the dark, dirty places.
I don't. Tawni, I know. I see now.
LeeAnna's like, you're going in there, not me. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you might get bed bugs or cockroaches in your hair. They're like playing Tarzan swinging or something. I'm paranoid now too. Call me a freak, but I melt my instruments. How do you melt or deform metal? I've done it because I use such high power.
I don't know, but if LeeAnna ever starts doing that, we're gonna have a problem.
I accidentally left one of my facial brushes in solution. I came back the next day and it was totally disintegrated. I'm like, well, at least we would have known it was clean. I probably overkill the sanitizing stuff as opposed to, not only do I do that, then I put them in an ultraviolet light and then run it through a third cleansing, and I make sure and I have like 10 sets of everything. That way there's never any downtime if I have 10 clients in a row. So make sure and ask questions. If I don't teach anyone else anything else, ask questions.
I'm pretty sure that you're LeeAnna's soul sister. I'm just going to say that because I run a stable. I manage horses all day, every day. I am sitting on LeeAnna's floor on a towel right now. Like, I'm on the floor, but I'm sitting on a towel.
I'm like, don't you come over all horsey now.
Oh, my
gosh. So she sends me this picture today. She wiped out, her ass is covered from head to toe in mud. She's like, can I come over now?
Oh, my gosh. That is hilarious.
I literally got out of the shower 5 minutes before I came over here, and I'm still sitting on a towel.
Oh, my gosh. That is too funny. I'm not that bad, but I do think, like, I clean my floors quite a bit. I'm upstairs. We just moved into our house, like, 2 weeks ago. I'm already shampooing the carpet.
Oh, she'll probably shampoo the carpet after I get up off of my towel.
I get so mad when we go on an investigation and we get to the hotel and I'm like, are you going to take a shower? She's like, no. I'm like, but you got ghost dust on you. Come on.
LeeAnna will walk in the hotel door, drop her stuff, and get in the shower.
Yeah,
you know what I have a problem with? I have a problem with toilets in general. Like, toilets scare me. They're the Antichrist. I don't care what anyone says. I like, when I go anywhere, I'll bring a small can of Lysol the toilet. Not only do I Lysol the toilet, but then I put a toilet seat cover. And then if there is no toilet seat covers, then I put toilet paper around the whole toilet. It takes me forever. And then on top of that, I still hover. Afraid that I don't pee in my own shoes because I haven't gotten down low enough. So, yeah. I hate I'm like, ooh, that's where someone's naked ass just sat.
I know. I know that I was listening to this radio show one day, and they were talking about this, and this gal goes, oh, I don't touch the handle. I use my foot. But you'll sit your ass on that dirty thing? Okay, lady.
Exactly. I use my foot. Not only do I use my foot, I back in sideways. I have a paper towel. I open the door with the paper towel, open it, hold the door open with my foot, and then chunk the rag into the trash can. That's how you go to the bathroom, people.
I'm just not even going to comment.
I'm like an acrobat.
I'll pretty much go to the bathroom anyway.
It's funny. If I know you and you're my friend and everything, it's like your dirt is my dirt, but your ass is my ass. But, if it's not friend kind of a situation, I don't like it. So, there you go.
Yeah,
there's my...
the paranormal.
Yeah, the interesting part of this is I'm sitting here on the couch and watching her act this out as she's telling it to you. This is a blooper reel, I'm telling you.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I kind of forget that people can see me, and I'm, like, sticking my legs up and dropping things. And
reflections and EVPs. These ladies brought us some EVPs. So I'm going to play the first one I have here. I'm not going to say it. I'll let you guys explain it after I play it. And if anybody listening isn't hearing it quite loud enough, just let us know in the chat. I'll turn it up.
And you're echoing really bad, too.
Am I again?
Yeah.
Is that any better?
No.
I'm echoing really bad. Okay.
Try playing.
Come over here and introduce the EVP. Or don't introduce. I'm just going to play the EVP.
Okay.
Do you guys in chat need it?
I'm really echoing. I'm going to play it again, yeah.
Wow, I heard that.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
That was a little...
Said, what you get,
What you get, Melanie.
Yep, I heard it clear as day.
Yep. That was actually, we were in the basement, and we had a voice recorder running upstairs on the first floor where we were told that there were children, and our angel reader, this is actually a building that she works out of. She has her angel reading room upstairs, and it's a store that sells crafts and different kind of goods, but it has huge history, and it's got like 4 floors. So we were down in the basement, and upstairs. Oh, no, that's not the second floor. Sorry, me and Tawni are talking here. But this was the first floor by the front door, and we're in a gambling town. There was no children around, and it was clear as day.
You
so
can
we know
definitely tell that that's a child's voice, too.
Yep. So, and we're going to probably be going back there pretty soon because I want to see if we still have any children there. But, whoa, that was a motorcycle just went by. That was clear as day, and we weren't even, because people say, well, maybe it was something demonic just mimicking a child. And I said, well, you know what? If it was in response to a question in EVP session that I was doing one-on-one, I could maybe ask that question. But since it was dead silent upstairs and we were in the basement, I can almost concur that it was definitely a child.
Right. Absolutely. And if if you guys were able to hear it, our listeners, bear in mind too that this is like audio over the sound waves. So, it's I could hear it clear as day, but I'm an investigator as well. So I thought it was amazing, and it was definitely a child.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Play more.
Now,
okay,
the other two I might need to set up because they're a little longer, so it's up to you.
Okay. Do you want me to say the name or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Where's the stairs?
Okay, now this is probably going to be on my ghost story. The gentleman that works at the Gilpin County Jail and Courthouse where we did the investigation, we were doing our walkthrough like we always do with the client or employees or whoever that's had activity, and we heard a door close on the second floor. And we went around the corner to check it out, and you can hear me saying, "Did you guys hear a door?" And Tawni says, "Yeah, but I think it was downstairs." And that's when Josie, he's with us, he started to talk, but you can hear a whisper. I tried to amplify it of what the spirit said after listening to our conversations about the stairs.
Okay. I'm going to play this twice so everybody will be able to hear it.
Okay.
Did you girls hear a door shut? I heard something from downstairs. Oh, it was downstairs? Okay.
And this is administrative offices.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Wow, yeah. That's what it sounded like. That was my voice.
I'm going to play it a little louder.
Did you girls hear a door shut? I heard something from downstairs. Oh, it was downstairs? Okay.
And this is administrative offices.
Oh, yeah, you can hear that clear as day.
And he's saying, "Where's the stairs?" So that has to make you wonder, what can he see? He could hear us. He knew what we were talking about, but he didn't see stairs. So that tells me that he was either had to do with this house that was there before they built that building, which we knew there was. It didn't have stairs, or he's part of the land, but obviously he didn't see any stairs.
Well, but I mean, later in that investigation, too, we spent a very lengthy period of time working with the Ovulus around a staircase. Remember?
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That staircase that led to nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a ton of Ovulus responses at the stairway that was leading to nothing, really.
Yeah.
We spent a lengthy amount of time. I never even thought about that until just now.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sounds like your classic kind of huffy-breathed EVP, and it's underneath someone else. It was, brilliant.
But very clear.
Very
and it was
clear.
a man, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a man. You could tell straight away it was a man. Awesome, girls.
And the next one, don't want you here.
Okay. This is in the same building where we caught the child, but this was on the 4th floor, which was empty offices. They had converted to offices. We just walked into it. I came around a doorway, and I got a .3 on the millimeter, so you'll hear that, me saying that. And then right afterwards, you hear a voice saying, "I don't want you here."
Nasty place.
Okay, and I'm gonna play this one twice for everybody too.
Okay.
An office area here, .3. An office area here, .3.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Really, really interesting building. And that 4th floor, I will tell you right now, I mean, just the energy, the shift of emotion walking into just that 4th floor, which, honest to God, was probably the least creepy environment in the entire building because it literally was just offices where everything else in the building was, you know, older and not maintained, but you could just tell the difference of energy when you walked up there, and to catch that was just insane.
And we got that on video and audio. So it's
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
Usually you get it one or the other, but we got it on the recorder and the video camera.
Absolutely. That's
and none
like,
of us heard it. I don't know how we could have heard it.
None of us heard it.
What would you have done if you had heard it?
kept going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we're good. We don't get scared easily. I mean, it has to be something pretty good. But no, we would have kept on going. Yeah.
So you have an episode of My Ghost Story coming up on April 6th. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I do want to reiterate, because television plays by their own rules and their own schedules. We just found out 2 days ago that now I guess they had legal issues with episode 55, so they took it out. And so that dropped us into the last week in March, with the last Saturday, which I believe is the 30th.
31st. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
It's Saturday. It's the 30th, So I'm going to put it out there now. We think it's the 30th. We're
episode 60. That's all we know.
Yeah, we're episode 60. And if they change that, because that falls on Easter weekend, so who knows if they're going to do a rerun. But, they're supposed to tell me 2 weeks in advance. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. But people, if you want to know, keep in touch with our Facebook page. We update it regularly, and we'll let you know if there's any changes with the date. But tentatively, it should be March 30th.
Great.
And for those of our listeners that may not know, can you tell us what your Facebook page is, where we can find you?
You can just put in Spirit Realm Investigative Project in a search, whether it be Facebook or Google, and it'll bring it up. And we also have a YouTube channel, which you just put in SRIP3. That's our abbreviations, 3 for 3 girls. And you can watch our videos and our evidence, because we do put it up on our YouTube channel.
Right.
Good deal.
And I did put it in earlier tonight. Yeah,
right. Yeah, Chris isn't looking at chat. I just put it in
the chat. So, but as far as the My Ghost Story goes, this was actually at that Gilpin County Jail, and to this day we still have that nasty entity in the basement kind of haunt us. It haunts Tawni more than anybody else. So
he doesn't haunt me. He just lives with me.
But he actually has basically taken over the man that we interviewed that has been working there for 17 years and has a kind of weird relationship with this entity. He will actually sit in the jail cells that they don't use anymore, because it's from the 1800s, and have a therapy session and tell this entity all his woes. And they've gotten a relationship now, and this entity has basically taken him over, and you can tell when it does, because his eyes dilate and he changes.
Wow.
No fooling. This is a bad situation, and he came home with Tawni, and you want to go ahead and talk about that, Tawni, what he did?
Definitely one of the more interesting locations. Like LeeAnna said earlier, for whatever reason, LeeAnna communicates amazingly with children. I, for whatever reason, tend to communicate with darker things. I don't know why, but always have. Going to the jail I knew as soon as I walked into the jail, and it was during the day, that I wasn't comfortable there. I saw a shadow person immediately as soon as I walked into the jail. I wasn't comfortable from the get-go, and I had a pretty scary moment during the investigation. Probably the scariest I've ever been on an investigation, where I actually ran and was screaming.
Wow.
But after the investigation, I've always had things go on around me and in my living environments and things like that growing up. I've always had those things go on. After that investigation, I was living by myself in an apartment, and I just started having strange things, like stranger than normal for me, go on. I would see a shadow person daily, multiple times a day and at night, and I was very aware that it was there, and at the time I was dating somebody who was 100% non-believer, period, end of story, no questions about it. And there was an evening, things had been escalating at the apartment, and there was an evening. Have you ever seen those Chinese,
screens?
Like screens, yeah, that they would like dress behind? I had one of those that was set up in my living room in a corner with a lamp behind it. I mean, it's a good 6 feet tall, probably 10, 15 pounds, sitting in my living room watching TV with my boyfriend, and the screen literally flew across my living room, like a good 6, 7 feet from where it was stood up, and just crashed to the floor. Scared me to death, scared my boyfriend at the time to death, and that was kind of when I was like, okay, like, this is a problem. I've never had anything that violent happen. So LeeAnna and Allie actually ended up coming over, I think, probably a couple of days after that.
Oh, yeah, a couple of days, yeah.
I mean, my boyfriend was just at that, I mean, it had startled him enough that he was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but this isn't okay. And I think that it was a couple of days after that LeeAnna and Allie came over, and the three of us cleansed my entire apartment. And the activity decreased after that, but I would be a complete liar if I told you I don't live in that same apartment, but I can still tell you to this day that it's around.
Wow, that's weird.
Very strange. I mean,
for lack of a better word, it's very weird, very strange.
Very strange. Probably the only thing in my entire life that has really startled me.
Have you thought about a secondary cleansing, or like getting a little more firm with the cleansing to see if that would work?
Well, and see, this is where LeeAnna and I differ, because I have always had things around me since I was a kid, and so I tend to tolerate and, I guess for lack of better words, not pay attention to a lot of the things that go on around me. Whereas, like, LeeAnna was like, you got something nasty here, and I'm like, man. I'm a little more brass than LeeAnna when it comes to that, and I mean, he's still around, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't interfere with my daily life, so I leave it be.
Right.
Well, one thing, too, you got to remember, and, you know, Tawni's on her own. She doesn't have any kids in the home, and I think that's what bothers us as parents, that we're afraid we're going to bring something home and our children have to deal with it, and that's a whole other ballgame, because they didn't ask for this. They don't want Mom out there investigating, bringing creepy stuff home, you know, so... I've been lucky. I usually bring home children or good women, actually, and Tawni gets the nasty people. So I guess it's all right with her. It's okay with me.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't have any kids and she's all good. Okay. Yeah, that would. I've had a couple of not so nice things in my house from time to time, and I do have small children still at home. So
yeah.
Something
you got to think about.
Oh,
well,
absolutely.
I just came in contact with the gentleman named Dave that's going to start helping us. Not on site. He can do it remotely. He's way up there with the angels and astral planes, and this guy can get rid of some nasty stuff. And, you know, if Tawni ever asked, if it got to the point where she needed more help, I can have him help her. And the gentleman that works in the jail might not be working there much longer. So once he's out of that environment, he asked for our assistance to try to help him, because I mean, I told him if we cleanse him and he continues to go in that jail and talks to the guy, there's nothing I can do about it. It's just going to reattach to you. So you're just defeating your purpose. So, but that spirit is lurking in that town, and he wants power. He wants power. In fact, I think he wants to go on investigations with us so he can invade the other spirits in that town. He's not a nice guy. So I have to be one step ahead of this character.
Do you think it's
something... And I know most people that listen to this are like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's true. I mean, you girls know, and the more you're around it, the more you learn, the more it's real, and you know it, especially when you get evidence.
And you're right. It's hard to explain something like that to someone who's never really experienced it.
Right. I mean, and you have all the evidence behind it, but... I mean, just the feeling. I mean, there's this one person, there's this one entity up there, and I am telling you, you can be across the street in a completely different building and know
that he's down the street.
Well, not even down the street. I mean, you just feel it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what my ghost story is going to be about. So
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And the man who's possessed will be on there, and he will acknowledge the fact that he knows he's possessed.
Okay,
Wow.
I have a question, and please don't be offended by anything that I'm about to say, because I deal with this on a daily basis. Why is nobody doing anything for this man? Because you're not realizing the damage that you're doing to him by not doing something to save him, to get him unpossessed.
Well, see, that's what I just said. If he's still going back into that environment where that entity is, and he's still allowing that entity to have a relationship with him, as many times as I told him, you have to stand up for yourself and put that barrier protection, he won't do it. So how am I going to help him if he won't follow the rules? And we could cleanse him, but he's going to go back into that atmosphere the very next day at work and pick it up again.
And I mean, I will testify to this just a little bit, because LeeAnna and I have had personal battles about this. You can only help somebody when they want help.
That's right.
You can only, LeeAnna doesn't necessarily always agree and like the fact that for whatever reason I communicate, and I sometimes enjoy communicating with a darker entity. I do. I do. And she can sage me all day and all night, whether I'm awake or I'm not. But if I choose to make that communication, there's nothing that she can do about it. And it's very similar. It's very similar with Josie. Unfortunately, that's a choice that he makes. And like she said, he is put into that environment. Like she just said, he's not going to be working there any longer, but he's put into that environment every single day. But he also makes the conscious choice to...
He likes the spirit.
He does.
He likes it. He kind of thinks it's cool, even though it's wrecking his life and it's ruining his relationship with his wife because he has anger problems now because he turns into this monster. It's not enough for him to want to get rid of it. Now, I told him, when you're done working there and you're out of there, I will get someone to help you if you want to go for it, but you have to want to do it.
Right.
So it's up in the air right now on what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think he's very able to acknowledge what's going on, but he's still got
I think the reason that Sharon asked is that she is a demonologist, so I consult with her a lot.
Right. And I can attest to the fact that because I love Sharon and we know her, she's amazing. And she's not controversial in any way. I think she's just coming from a point of, genuinely caring, and this is what she works with. But my husband he's a counselor, like a legit counselor. And for him, he comes home and he's like, you know what? I cannot bash my head on the wall trying to help these people if they don't want to help themselves. He's like, I can only work as hard as that person wants to work. I know what they need to do, but I can't do it for them. So he comes home and he says this time and time again.
Well, and then even if you do help them and they do want help, the longer that this darker entity is attached to this person, the less likely you're going to be able to help this person. That's why I'm coming from. Because I'm like, okay, how long has this been going on? Because I'm telling you, what I'm seeing is you're not going to be able to help him no matter what, because it's gone on way too long.
It's been going on 17 years.
So you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just came into it at the end. Yeah. If it's been going on that long, there's probably, we can hope that there will be help for him, but 17 years, you guys obviously haven't known it, known in the whole 17 years. You just came into it at the end, but he has to want it. And
that's kind of where it is. I mean, you're talking about, honestly, a great guy, great person, great heart, but there's obviously something very prevalent going on, but he's not crying for help.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
And, I'll be the first, and Tawni will tell you this, I'm all about the goodness and helping spirits and helping people, and, I'll go out of my way believe me, I've knocked my head with this guy in conversation about what we're going to have to do at some point. But he's to the point now where if he loses his job, which it sounds like he's going to, I told him the help is there. We will try our best. But he didn't even take it right then and there when I offered it to him. So he's kind of on the fence about it. So that just tells me that he's afraid of giving up this entity. It's a part of him now.
And it sounds like you ladies have done everything that you possibly can.
Yeah.
And you see that, though, with a lot of people. They get this bond with this entity, and they don't want to break free because they think if they do break free, then their life is going to be worse than what it is now. And a lot of it is the lies that's been told to him. Because I'm sure that entity is telling him, we got to stick together, dude. If we don't stick together, your life's going to go to shit, and there's not anything that I can do to help you because now we're not together anymore.
Well, his life is shit right now, so I don't know what this entity, why it's trying to destroy him. The only thing I can think of, it's trying to destroy him, his soul, so he can take him over totally to the point where Josie will be there, but it won't always be Josie. He'll just be in the back, kind of like a split personality. So, I have to always keep an eye on what Josie came up to me and says, I had this guy write this thing about the investigation, and I want to start coming with you guys to all your investigations so we can write about this. And I'm like, hell no. Your buddy's not going anywhere with us.
Right.
Sorry, it's not happening.
With that riveting bit of information, guys, we are at the end of our time, but this has been such an amazing show. We would love to have you back.
Yes,
great.
definitely.
Yeah, anytime.
And talk about that, especially after your my ghost story airs. We would really love to have you back and talk about that.
No problem.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure talking to you and learning about what you do, and the best of luck in everything, and I hope we can have you back soon.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You have a great night.
You too.
That was an interesting show. I was kind of, because it's been so long since we've done a paranormal show that I was a little nervous, to be honest, but it was a really good show. I enjoyed it.
It was. I did too.
And I really would love to have them back after this airs. And I know, Sharon, you were really getting into the whole demonology aspect of it. I know that interests you. So
I think I didn't offend them in any way or anything like that. I don't understand that.
I
have a hard time understanding that.
I think that they were much of the same mindset, and I actually sent them friend requests on Facebook. You should look them up as well. And like their page, get out there and find out a little bit about them. But, like I said, they came in on the tail end of this gentleman, and it's been going on for 17 years. So we will definitely talk to them and blah, 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 blah.
And that's all, folks.
We will be back next week with Wayne Mallows. His new book, Mary Mary Like Cherry, is out, and he's going to tell us all about it, and I'm going to ask you please to read from it. Boy, I can't talk tonight, Chris.
It's the cold.
Yeah, to get him to read to us from the book. So same time, same place. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
And I will see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys sooner than next week. I'll see you sooner than tomorrow. So anyway, great night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.